Millennials are hurting bad financially. And you might think it's been the same way, every generation has its ups and downs, whatever. But if you were born between 1981 and 1996, your finances could be pretty messed up. And in this video, I'm going to show you why this is and how to get them fixed. Hi there, my name is Jaime Shekaiban and welcome to your personal finance, money, saving, and investing channel, The Foreigner in America, where I can relate to locals and foreigners on what to do with their money. First of all, let me get things clear up on what it is to be considered a millennial. I just saw a video from Graham Stephan saying that millennials are age 35 and under. And you know what? That is not accurate. There are 4 generations right now. So you got the baby boomers, the Generation X, the Millennials, which is also called Generation Y, and the Generation Z. And the only thing that puts you in one generation or another is the year that you were born. So let me show you this nice table here from last year. And the only thing you gotta do is you gotta add one more year to the ages. If you were born between 1946 and 1964, you will be 56 to 74 years of age. You're considered a baby boomer. From 1965 to 1980, that's age 40 to 55, you're considered a Generation X. A millennial, born from 1981 to 1996, that's age 24 to 39. And then the youngest generation, the Generation Z, born between 97 and 2012. That's age 8 to 23. So a millennial, and different from what you saw in other videos, is anyone born between 81 and 96 and is currently between 24 and 39 years of age. So funny fact is, next year millennials are turning 40. There are 2 things in history that marked the life of millennials forever. And I'll tell you what they are as soon as you hit the like button to help grow my channel. The 2 things were the dot-com bubble and the financial crisis of 2008. So
Jaime, what does this have to do with anything? Millennials are just terrible spenders and they don't save any money.
60% of America is made of spenders and 40% of savers. And this has been the same exact way generation over generation. Back in the days, people got their money, their income, and they went to the store and they spent it all. There was no YouTube, Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, no social media whatsoever. But the ads got you on TV, radio, newspapers, magazines. If you were a millennial graduating from college in 08, 09, you came out to a very difficult situation. You got a lot of student loan debt and you did not get any kind of job. And you know what? It is happening today. So the youngest millennials and the oldest Generation Zs are gonna be pretty much hurt with this, what's happening in 2020 with the pandemic. College education just got stupid expensive. It went up 54% in the last 20 years. So millennials were graduating with an average of $20,000 to $30,000 in student loan debt without being able to get a job. And then salaries were stagnant because of the crisis. So people stopped paying their loans altogether and they got all this interest from them. And the people that did pay, they didn't have any money extra to invest. And you know, every dollar you invest in your 20s compounds significantly into your 30s and 40s and so on. So now you understand where I'm coming from here. And different from baby boomers and Generation X's, millennials had it harder. College education got a lot more expensive. They got a lot of student loan debt and they couldn't get a good job since the beginning. From ages 16 to 24, in the period of 07, the fall of 07 to the fall of 09, unemployment surged 8.8% to a 19%. While the other ages just surged a 5%. And then millennials have a lot less savings than their predecessors. 66% have nothing saved for retirement, and this is bad. You're talking about people that are almost 40. And they're 34% weaker financially than Generation X's. This means that they have less savings than the same age last generation ago. The other thing I'm seeing very often, and I've seen it with a lot of friends, is that millennials carry a lot of cash in their accounts. So the main way of saving money is just holding cash. And they're not investing. What happens is that you need to hold cash for an emergency account. That's it. The rest of your cash has to be invested so it grows. If it's not growing, it's called frozen money because it's dead. And you know what? Inflation is just eating out of it every year. You should only keep cash as your emergency savings. And you should invest the rest for compound interest. For ages 25 to 34, homeownership went down 8.4%. So 35 and 39, it improved a little bit, but not so much. And I can understand why this happens. You know, buying a home here in America, it's a long process. You gotta work with a realtor. You gotta go and see tens of houses until you find one that you like. And after you found one, you have to pre-qualify for a loan. And guess what? You need a good credit score for it. Make sure that you look at my previous video on how banks are stealing your money with credit scores. That's a solid video. And leave a comment if you like it. So after you pre-qualify for the loan, you got the money, you're gonna put an offer, and guess what? Asking price is not enough. You have to be on a bid war to get the house. And finally, you get your house, and what happens? You gotta buy furniture, decor, electronics, all these expenses. And if you put the property taxes into play, which it can be from 1% to 2.5% or more, like here where I live, you put that together with mortgage, insurance, home warranty, and maintenance, that is a fortune. So buying a house when your finances are not solid and you don't have enough money in savings to back it up in case of an emergency will kill you financially. So renting is just easier. Is it a good thing long term? No. Is it a good financial decision? Maybe. If you're saving money renting, that you are putting to work, that you're investing. And adding to the mix that millennials they feel free spirits. They are getting married way older, like in their late 20s, early 30s. They are not financially solid. They do not have money for a down payment. Now you understand why they're not buying any houses. To summarize what I just said, millennials, people from age 24 to 39, not 35, are not buying homes, are not saving for a down payment, are not saving for retirement. They have a bunch of student loan debt. And they're 34% financially weaker than Generation X's at the same age level. So how can we fix this? I am a millennial, and I can tell you there is a fix, so stay with me. Unfortunately, 10 years from now, we're gonna be talking about how Generation Zs, the youngest ones, and even the youngest millennials are gonna be suffering big time because of what happened in 2020 with the pandemic. But forget about that right now, don't suffer about it. First, the student loan problem. So if you're 24, you're probably a couple of years out of college and you're with the problem in front of you. If you're 39, you probably don't have the problem anymore, or you just forgot about college altogether. Remember, in my previous videos, I mentioned that there are two big personal finance problems that anyone with debt has. The problem of not making enough money and the problem of spending too much money.
Jaime, you think you just discovered the wheel with your comment. That's so obvious.
It is not obvious for 60% of Americans struggling with debt today. You have to create a budget. You have to identify your fixed and variable expenses and know how much money you have to spend every month. Once you do that, you have to reduce your expenses to the limit. But there's a point that you cannot reduce them anymore, so you have to increase your income. How do you do that? Well, you renegotiate a salary raise from your job, you change jobs, or you get a side hustle that makes extra income. You can start an online business, or simply you can teach someone anything that you're good at and charge for it. And once you reduced your expenses to the limit and increased your income, all that money left goes directly into your student loan debt until you pay it off. And guess what? You can do the exact same thing and pay off all your other debt. And by the way, thank you, Mr. Dave Ramsey. For guys and girls currently 18 and thinking about going to college, I have a secret for you. Let me tell you my secret, but don't tell anyone, okay? When I was 18, I wanted to go and live in the US, and I wanted to go into oil and gas. So I saw that most of my students that I had back in the days made a lot of money in oil and gas. Why? Because I was an English teacher part-time back in Mexico. So I went and I did. I graduated as an industrial and systems engineer and went directly into oil and gas. And 7 years later, I came into this beautiful country as a legal immigrant. So your education needs to have a purpose. You cannot be going and getting $30,000 in debt just to be able to get a random job.
Nope.
That's not enough. So what does an 18-year-old kid or student cares for? I'll tell you right now. Partying! Getting wasted, getting high, girls, guys. That's exactly what they care for. But that's what dad and mom, that's what the parents are for. You gotta sit down with your kid and you gotta talk about it. Honey, do you wanna go and be a petroleum engineer? Perfect. You see how bad the industry is? How much unemployment there is? It's freaking sucks. So why don't you explore something in the finance realm or in the tech realm or in the medical realm or any other realm? If you're just getting an education or going somewhere or studying something because your buddy is there, because your parents did it before, or because your girlfriend or boyfriend goes there,
You are doomed from day one.
so people that already have the student loan debt problem, fix it with my advice. And people that are just gonna get into the problem, think about it wisely. The other problem that millennials have is the homeownership situation. I don't think that's a problem whatsoever because I don't own a house myself. Buying versus renting is a big topic of debate. And I could do a whole other video about buying versus renting. But the reality is you can save a lot of money just by renting. You can get a 2-bed, 2-bath apartment with one of your buddies and probably spend $1,000 a month all in and be happy for years and save a lot of money and invest it, put it to work. The only thing I'm gonna tell you about renting is that it is not a permanent state. You need an exit strategy. You need to know when and where you're gonna buy. I have another video that I will share with you in the description that shows how much house you can afford not to be considered home poor or house poor. Please, don't be house poor. It's better to be apartment rich than house poor, trust me. So if millennials are gonna rent till they're 40, and the Generation Z, the one that is coming behind, is gonna be even worse because of this pandemic, what are you waiting for to start investing in rental real estate? That's a great business. It's gonna be a great business for the next 20 or 30 years. Why do you think there's so many apartment complexes being built in every corner of the city? Now let me give you the foreigner insight for this video, so stay with me because you're gonna be surprised with this information. If you came here as a foreigner before age 22, you most likely have the burden of student loan debt in America. If you came after, like myself, then you're pretty much free of it. But if you have it, you have to follow the exact same recommendations as the locals as I'm giving you in this video. The problem is people that come here to study in America, they sometimes come with a student visa. Whenever the school is up, the visa expires and they get kicked out of the country. The only way you cannot get kicked out of the country is by marrying a US citizen or by getting sponsorship from a US company. Getting sponsorship from a US company today, under this environment, is more difficult than marrying a billionaire and becoming one yourself. There has been so many jobs, millions and millions of them lost because of this pandemic. So there is no place for foreigners to get a job in this country today. So be careful. Getting married is no joke. You will get a conditional 2-year green card after your marriage. And then you have to go to the USCIS and prove that the marriage is legit. And if you cannot do that, then it's considered a felony for the US citizen, and the foreigner will be automatically deported and will not be able to come back in at least 10 years. So if you are a student with a student visa in this country and you're approaching graduation, make sure to contact an immigration lawyer and see your options. What I will tell foreigners like myself is have a plan and have an exit strategy. Get an education that will help you be successful in this country, make money, and get all this money that you save, hopefully, and invest it in index funds and rental real estate, because those are passive investments. And you won't have the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, on top of you for that. It's perfectly safe. And there are also investment options that you can look at to stay longer in this country. And it's not the $1.8 million EB-5 investor visa that you're probably thinking about. It's more of a 50 to 100K range. This country is beautiful and full of opportunities, but you need a plan, you need to become a saver, and you need to know your options. So go get a plan and do it now. If you like this video, give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any one of my Monday videos. And leave me a comment so I know if you liked the video or which topic do you want me to talk about. And until then, see you next time.